Hello, welcome to today's immigration tidbit. Well, a couple things are missing from your question here. I understand that asylum was granted for your spouse, but I would need to know if your spouse actually has the green card, because after all said and done, when the asylum is granted, that doesn't mean green card is granted. That means you need to wait another year, then apply for lawful permanent residency. So I'm not sure if that's where your spouse is at the present time. I would also need to know when you got married, because if you are the spouse of the one who was granted asylum, were you spouse before she was granted asylum? If so, you may qualify as a derivative asylee. Okay, and as a derivative asylee, you may be able to adjust status in the U.S. To get your green card based on the fact that your spouse got the green card through the asylum, even though you entered the country illegally. However, depending when you got married, and if you're not considered a derivative anymore, at least for purposes of asylum, then your spouse, he or she, would have to apply for you as a lawful permanent resident, at which point it would matter how you entered the U.S. and you wouldn't qualify for adjustment of status unless you're under what's called 245I, which I assume you're not, or you would have said your parents or whoever petitioned many, many years ago for you or your parents. So it doesn't mean you can't. If you have to go down that road, it doesn't mean you can't. It's just you're not going to be able to adjust in the U.S. The idea of getting the green card means you either adjust in the U.S. or you consular process in your home country. You would likely be subject to the 10-year bar, so you would have to do a provisional waiver of inadmissibility. And that, of course, depends on whether you can do that if you're inadmissible on any other grounds other than being here unlawfully present. So if you have crimes, if there's any fraud or misrepresentations, if there's any deport orders or anything like that, it'll be much more difficult to do a provisional waiver. So as a first ground of attack, I would try to see if I could get you in as a derivative asylee based on your wife's grant of asylum to allow you to adjust in the U.S. Okay?